What's good, YouTube? Today is day 11 of Reading So You Don't Have to, Atomic Habits. You know, we got to go ahead and get our little freaky little thumbnail out of it. But yeah, yesterday, what did we talk about yesterday? You know, we started on a new law, third law, pregame jitters. We talked about feeling anxious. Let me see. Okay, yeah, making a habit unattractive, right? And every behavior has a surface level craving and deeper underlying motive. Things of that nature. If I haven't seen it, just go back and watch it. But today, let me get this off of here. Today is walk slowly but never backwards. All right. The chapter 11. So this is video 12. Okay, it's video 12 of Atomic Habits. Nice. Walk slowly but never backward. On the first day of class, Jerry Ulisman, a professor at the University of Florida, divided his film photography students into two groups. Everyone on the left side of the classroom, he explained, would be in the quantity group. They would be graded solely on the amount of work they produce. On the final day of class, he would tally the number of photos submitted by each student. Each 100 photos would rate an A, 90 photos a B, 80 photos a C, and so on. Meanwhile, everyone on the right side of the room would be in the quality group. They will be graded only on the excellence of their work. They will only need to produce one photo during the semester, but to get an A, it nearly had to be a perfect image. At the end of the term, he was surprised to find out that all the best photos were produced by the quantity group. During the semester, these students were busy taking photos, experimenting with composition and lighting, testing out various methods in the dark room, and learning from their mistakes. In the process of creating hundreds of photos, they honed their skills. Meanwhile, the quality group sat around speculating about perfection. In the end, they had little to show for their efforts other than unverified theories and one mediocre photo. It is easy to get bogged down trying to find the optimal plan for a change. The fastest way to lose weight, the best program to build muscle, the perfect idea for a side hustle. We are so focused on figuring out the best approach that we never get around to taking action. As Voltaire once wrote, the best is the enemy of the good. I refer to this as the difference between being in motion and taking action. The two ideas sound similar, but they are not the same. When you're in motion, you're planning and strategizing and learning. Those are all good things, but they don't produce a result. Action, on the other hand, is the type of behavior that will deliver an outcome. If I outline 20 ideas for articles I want to write, that's motion. If I actually sit down and write an article, that's action. If I search for a better diet plan and read a few books on the topic, that's motion. If I actually eat a healthy meal, that's action. Sometimes motion is useful, but it will never produce an outcome by itself. It doesn't matter how many times you go talk to the personal trainer. That motion will never get you in shape. Only the action of working out will get the result you are looking to achieve. If motion doesn't lead to results, why do we do it? Sometimes we do it because we actually need to plan or learn more. But more often than not, we do it because motion allows us to feel like we're making progress without running the risk of failure. Most of us are experts at avoiding criticism. It doesn't feel good to fail or to be judged publicly, so we tend to avoid situations where that might happen. And that's the biggest reason why you slip into motion rather than taking action. You want to delay failure. It's easy to be in motion and convince yourself that you're still making progress. You think, I've got conversations going for four potential clients right now. This is good. We're moving in the right direction. Or I brainstormed some ideas for that book I want to write. This is coming together. Motion makes you feel like you're getting things done, but really you're just preparing to get something done. When preparation becomes a form of procrastination, you need to change something. You don't want to merely be planning. You want to be practicing. If you want to master a habit, the key is to start with repetition, not perfection. You don't need to map out every feature of a new habit. You just need to practice it. This is the first takeaway of the third law. You just need to get your reps in. How long does it take to actually form a new habit? Habit formation is the process of which a behavior becomes progressively more automatic through repetition. The more you repeat an activity, the more the structure of your brain changes to become efficient at that activity. Neuroscientists call this long-term potentiation, which refers to the strengthening of connections between neurons in the brain based on recent patterns of activity. With each repetition, cell-to-cell signaling improves, the neural connections tighten. First described by neuropsychologist Donald Hebb in 1949, this phenomenon is commonly known as Hebb's law. Neurons that fire to get together wire together. Repeating a habit leads to clear physical changes in the brain. In musicians, the cerebellum, critical for physical movements like plucking a guitar string or pulling a violin bow, is larger than it is non-musicians. Mathematicians, meanwhile, have increased gray matter in inferior parietal lobe, which plays a key role in computation and calculation. Its size is directly correlated with the amount of time spent in the field. The older and more experienced the mathematician, the greater the increase of gray matter. And when scientists analyzed the brains of taxi drivers in London, they found that the hippocampus, a region of the brain involved in spatial memory, was significantly larger in their subjects than a non-taxi driver. Even more fascinating, the hippocampus decreased in size when a driver retired, like the muscle of a body responding to regular weight training. Particular regions of the brain adapt as they are used and atrophy as they are abandoned. Of course, the importance of repetition in establishing habits was recognized long before neuroscientists began poking around. In 1860, the English philosopher George A. Lewes noted, in learning to speak a new language, to play a musical instrument, or to perform unaccustomed movements, great difficulty is felt because the channels through which each sensation has to pass not become established. But no sooner has frequent repetition cut a pathway than its difficult vanishes. The actions become so automatic that they can be performed while the mind is otherwise engaged. Both common sense and scientific evidence agree. Repetition is a form of change. Each time you repeat an action, you are activating a particular neural circuit associated with that habit. This means that simply putting in your reps is one of the most... Oh my gosh. Alright. This means that simply putting in your reps is one of the most critical steps you can take to encoding a new habit. It is why the students who took tons of photos improved their skills while those who merely theorized about the perfect photos did not. One group engaged in active practice, the other in passive learning. One in action, one in motion. All habits follow a similar trajectory from effortful practice to automatic behavior, a process known as automaticity. Automaticity, ability to perform a behavior without thinking about each step, which occurs when the non-conscious mind takes over. It looks something like this. See, they give us a crazy chart. A nice. Oh shit. On the following page, you'll see what it looks like when researchers track the level of automaticity for an actual habit like walking 10 minutes a day. The shape of these charts, which scientists call learning curves, reveals an important truth about behavior change. Habits form based on frequency, not time. Walking 10 minutes per day. You can see, it gives us a nice little chart. One of the most common questions I hear is, how long does it take to build a new habit? But what people really should be asking is, how many does it take to form a new habit? That is, how many repetitions are required to make a habit automatic? There is nothing magical about time passing with regard to habit formation. It does not matter if it's been 21 days or 30 days or 300 days. What matters is the rate at which you perform the behavior. You could do something twice in 30 days or 200 times. It is the frequency that makes the difference. Your current habits have been internalized over the course of hundreds, if not thousands of repetitions. New habits require the same level of frequency. You need to string together enough successful attempts until the behavior is firmly embedded in your mind and you cross the habit line. In practice, it really doesn't matter how long it takes for a habit to become automatic. What matters is for you to take actions you need to make progress. Whether an action is fully automatic of less importance, to build a habit, you need to practice it. And the most effective way to make practice happen is to adhere to the third law of behavior. Behavior change. Make it easy. The chapters that follow will show you how to do exactly that. Yep, just like that, we are on to chapter 12, which will make it episode 13 tomorrow. We gotta hit our. But yeah, what that is basically telling us is when you get over a certain time of doing a habit, right, it becomes embedded in your subconscious mind. And when that happens, you start flowing through shit, like just keep like boom, boom, boom. That's what I do every morning. It's the same morning routine that I have, it's a habit now. I flow straight through. I get up, wake up out of my bed, open my blinds. When I open my blinds, that gets me straight started. But yeah, y'all have to start doing that when y'all in trading. You have to get repetitions in the market. When you sit there for thousands of trades, you think one person that is sitting there, okay, I'm gonna wait for my one perfect setup, then whoever is taking 1,000. So you see what I'm saying? So say we have one person, right? He wants to sit there and he's waiting for his perfect setup, which you want to do, but you sitting there waiting for his perfect setup, and he's only taken one trade in his life. He's only paper traded, right? When he gets into that one A plus setup, his emotions are gonna take over. That's not gonna go as well, right? But someone that's took 1,000 trades, hundreds of trades, when they get into that market, they're eventually gonna be okay, cool. We're getting so much repetition that it's gonna be so good. Even though they have the same mental knowledge, at the end of going into it, they're gonna have a completely different mental. And one person is just gonna be stuck on what he already knew and him trying to wait on his A plus setup. And the other person is gonna be like, okay, he might have a whole different A plus setup. He might be getting in trades way earlier than the other man just because he's seen these patterns on the charts before. But it's simple as that, man. And I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Thank y'all. Tomorrow I am streaming FOMC, trying to get my account back in fucking action, motion, everything. Like, damn. Because this is a terrible month, but I'm not tripping though. But yeah, thank y'all for coming out, and I hope y'all enjoyed this video.